Hey everybody, it's Katie Lambert here, Team Evo at eXp Realty. For those of you who don't know and haven't been following us, my husband Matt Lambert and I are the founders of Team Evo, and we've been at eXp Realty for a couple of years now. We quite like it for several reasons. Matt has been here in the Phoenix area serving buyers and sellers in the real estate world for coming up on 18 years. So he's been doing it for quite some time, and I'm actually coming up on 15 myself. So together we have quite a bit of experience. Together we have sold over 1,100 homes, and we have remodeled a couple hundred as well. So we've got quite a bit of experience here in the area. We've worked through many different markets. And obviously, we do this for ourselves too. So we've got a good little portfolio going. We're working on our 5th home right now. We've got 4 currently, 3 that we rent out, 1 that we live in. But we'll be moving from the one that we live in, which is where I'm at today, to this new house. I'm super excited. We are under contract, and we have been for about 2 weeks now. And it's really kind of interesting being, both real estate agents and being married. A lot of interesting things happen, a lot of interesting conversations, but we're always looking for that next house, right? It's a passionate thing for us to find real estate to, for our clients and for ourselves, get the best deal possible and really make that into a great investment. And we have done so over the last 8 years that we've been together. We've done a pretty darn good job with that. Our 3 rental properties that we have right now perform extremely well, great cash flow, which is wonderful. It's really what you want as an investor. We're looking forward to our 4th investment doing the same as we move into our 5th home, which is going to be the forever home. Well, until we can no longer take care of it and we go elsewhere. And what's really funny is a lot of my friends out there are going to laugh when they see this video, because they're going to be like, yeah, I thought that home that you're in right now is your forever home. So we'll believe it when we see it, Katie. Anyway, so Matt and I have been looking for a new home to move into, a new forever home, since we moved into this one. So it's about, we've been here a little over 3.5 years. So we've been looking quite a bit. We've narrowed it for the last couple of years down to the Ahwatukee area. We quite like it. We're hikers, bikers. We like being at the, base of the preserve. We also are, our son is starting to develop roots in the Ahwatukee area as well. He goes to school in the Ahwatukee area, and, he's starting to develop relationships with friends and neighbors and things like that. So Ahwatukee is where it's at. We have probably looked at, 50 to 70 homes over the course of the last couple of years. And where it's very fun for us, and it's actually part of our job, right? It's really important for active real estate agents to be out there and be very familiar with the products that they're selling. So that's another reason that we do it too. But mainly we were looking for a home to move into ourselves. And we very rarely, and I know because I work with a lot of couples, we very rarely agree on, what's important, what are the priorities, what's the new house need, what are we really truly looking for, what can we concede on, what don't we really need to be happy, that kind of thing. So those lists are super far from each other. They don't typically match whatsoever. And so that's one of the reasons why we look at a lot of homes. There's a lot of other factors that are involved. The numbers obviously have to make sense. Timing is everything. Location is everything. But mommy and daddy have to agree, and that doesn't always happen. Once in a blue moon, it does. In fact, in the house that we're currently in, we did the very same thing. We were in our previous home for about 4 years. And we would drive around looking at the different areas, looking at houses. Of course, we're realtors, so we can get in and out as we please. And we, again, didn't agree. This house, the one that we're currently in, popped up on the MLS, and I mentioned to Matt, I was like, oh, hey, this one ticks the boxes. Do we want to go take a look at it? He's like, man, I don't really like the looks of it. I don't know. We are remodelers, so we can look past that. So we're mostly looking for, location, lot situation, how is the property positioned, that kind of thing. And from what we were able to see online, he wasn't buying it. It wasn't speaking to him. It spoke to me though. And I knew that the pictures just weren't doing it justice. And I knew that we had to get over there and take a look at it. So a couple of weeks went by and we looked at a couple of, other dozen houses and didn't find anything. I think we might have even made an offer at that time. It didn't get accepted or didn't end up going through for whatever reason. And we decided, you know what, let's just take a spin by that house. It's vacant. We're not disrupting anybody. We're going to be in the area anyway, and let's take a look. And as we drove, we're on a cul-de-sac, and we've got the preserve. We're not up against the preserve in this house, but the preserve is pretty close, so you can see the preserve behind the home. And so we pulled up, and we both looked at each other, and it was an instant, this is the one. We hadn't even been in the house yet, but we knew. And I will tell you guys, after dealing with, you just heard me say that, we've sold 1,100 homes together, Matt and I, in our tenure. We have. And that's a lot of clients to work with. That's a lot of families to work with. That's a lot of personalities to work with. And I will tell you, hands down, I will go to my grave saying this and believing this. As a buyer, especially if you're going to occupy the home as your own residence, when it's the one. Whether it's when you first pull up or when you just walk over the threshold, that it's the one. And so that happened to us. We ended up buying it. Turned out to be a great situation for us. We actually love the home. We love the area. And if this other perfect situation didn't pop up, we'd still be very happy and would still be here going about our day, living our life. However, this other situation popped up. And Matt and I have been wanting and manifesting and dreaming and talking about and really just becoming more and more passionate about backing the preserve. So our forever house needed to back to the preserve. I'm a hiker. He's a mountain biker. We love the peace and serenity that the preserve brings. We love hearing the coyotes late at night. We don't mind that there's extra snakes and scorpions. That's fine. We've got creepy crawly. We can deal with it. We're okay. But it's really backing the preserve was really what we wanted. And so same sort of idea. This house came up, I don't know, maybe about a month, 40 days ago, something in and around that. And it popped up and I shared it with Matt and I said, oh, this one backs the preserve. And I don't even remember what his reason was for not wanting to go see it, but he didn't want to go see it. He was like, you know what? I don't think it's the one for us. Let's not even waste our time. Okay, so I forgot about it. Like, I'm not going to get all worked up. If he doesn't want it, he doesn't want it. And so a little bit of time had passed and it had gone through a price reduction. So it was refreshed on my, my listing, my little search that I have set up for us. It was refreshed and I saw it again. And I said, you know what? This is popping back in my atmosphere. Just going to mention it to him. We'll just see what's up. And he said, it popped up on my radar too when they did the price reduction. And so it's now in a price point that, I might be able to consider this. Needs a full remodel, by the way. And so we decided to go and look at it. And again, we pulled up. Now we waited until we crossed the threshold. The feeling didn't hit me quite as strong in the driveway as it did when I crossed the threshold. We both crossed. It was just Jackson, I, and Matt. We crossed the threshold. We looked at each other. We gave each other, when you're a married couple, you have that look. We didn't even speak. We gave each other that look. He went one way. I went the other way. We looked at the house on our own and came together and decided that, yeah, this is the one. It's the one because it matches our family life so well. The floor plan is so well set up for us and all the things that we like to do and, different areas to entertain. And it's got my workout area, which is really awesome. Backs the preserve, which we love. It doesn't have a pool, which is okay. A pool is definitely a requirement. We have a 7-year-old. We live in Phoenix, Arizona. It gets real hot. But this one doesn't have a pool, and that's okay because, the things that it does have greatly outweigh the fact that someday we're just going to have to put in a pool, right? That's totally fine. And so we crunched our numbers. We decided, okay, got with our lender. We decided, okay, we're going to put in an offer on this property. Well, as you would have it, of course, or as luck would have it, there's already an investor offer on the property. Luckily, being in the real estate industry, it's like a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because we get all the real-time information. We know what we're doing. We do this every day, that kind of stuff. And then sometimes it's not so fun because you don't have that buffer for the delivery of information. So we're kind of getting, the good, the bad, and the ugly firsthand. And sometimes that doesn't, it's not helpful for your feelings sometimes, even though it's probably a very practical way of getting the information. So we're dealing with the other agent and hearing about this other offer. And of course, the wind in my sails is like starting to deflate a little bit. And we're certainly not going to compete with an investor by any means. We have to get it at a certain price and that's it. Otherwise, we're not getting the property. But I had this really, really strong feeling just looking around the house, just knowing the location, just knowing, the floor plan of the home. I thought in my heart of hearts, this home was loved. And there's different things that I saw that would give me that indication. It was built in 1993, but when I went into the master shower, picture it's like Pepto-Bismol pink, which was probably really cool in 1993. But anyway, I go into the shower and I realize that there's nothing there from 1993. There's no, little black junk everywhere. Very, very minimal water stains. I mean, it's just clean as a whistle. Great indicator that the rest of the home has been well taken care of, right? Not a crystal ball. It's not an exact science, but it's a good indicator. Hey, if they've been taking care of the things that we can see this well, then, chances are they're also taking care of the things that we can't see this well. So we hope that's the case, right? Fingers crossed. We'll know when the inspection happens. Anyway, it seemed like it was very well cared for, and it was a family home. I had a strong feeling of family in there. There was definitely a family that was raised in there, and I didn't know it, but that was the case. And so I felt that it was very, very important to really get that idea across that we aren't investors. We're not going to flip your home and do whatever to it. We're actually going to, yes, fix up your home. Yes, remodel your home, but we're going to live in it and we're going to love it. And we're going to raise our family and our pets there too. And we're going to have our Christmas parties and we're going to have our family gatherings and we're going to have our birthday parties and all of that there in that home. And that home is going to share the same love that it probably shared the entire time that it's been in existence. And I felt that was really, really important. So we got that whole idea across, that whole picture across. And what was also really great, and this is huge, my clients out there that are listening, what was really great is I actually have worked with this agent before. So this listing agent that has this property that's representing the seller has worked with me before on a previous transaction. And so he had a good feel for how I work. I'm very, very on top of things, very, very organized. I love my job. I love what I do. And I want people to feel that same love. And I want to know at the end of the day that I did as good of a job for anybody else out there that I do for myself and my own family. And that's just how I play it. And so he knew that about me and he recognized that. And he shared with his sellers, hey, this is a family. They're going to love your home. And I also know this agent, she's a total rock star. And, we're not going to be dealing with any crap here. Well, wouldn't you know it? We got accepted and we beat out an investor simply by a little pull of the heartstrings and by showing up with appropriate, legit, experienced, and an agent with a reputation, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So that happened to be me. And Matt's no slouch. He's pretty good too. So we'll throw him in there also. But those are the really important things. And I think a lot of people don't really realize that when they're shopping and they're just going, with any old agent or, hey, my cousin just got her license yesterday. She's great, right? I'm sure she knows everything she needs to know to get me through the biggest purchase of my life. She doesn't. And she doesn't have the connections to make those, get those things, get success with those extras, right? If he wouldn't have known me with the fact that we're a family and we want to love the house and we want to share in all of our holidays and special moments inside that house have gone that far, it may not have. So really the combination is those two things. That was super, super important. So we're under contract and we're moving forward. We had our inspection last week. Really, really great inspector. It was integrated. Love their inspection company. They had a guy for the interior, a guy for the exterior. So we walked around the entire house with the guy. The exterior guy went over all of that. And then we walked through the entire house with the interior guy and went over all of that. Well, wouldn't you know it, there were a few things that popped up on the inspection that weren't on the seller disclosure. So this tells me that the seller may not have been aware of some of these things. That isn't always the case, of course. It's really important to do your due diligence. Definitely get those disclosures from the seller. You are very experienced, very on top of things, very organized. Real estate agent should be doing that for you immediately once you're under contract so that you can get the ball rolling and really do your due diligence period justice like you should. So we went over all of that. Found out that there were a couple of leaks in the house actually that we weren't aware of previously. And from that, we hadn't scheduled a mold inspection previously because there are certain red flags that come up that I will feel more strongly about getting additional inspections outside of the general and termite, which we normally get. If certain situations arise, I will feel like it's more important to get a mold inspector, like in this case, or to get a roof inspector, AC inspector, that kind of thing. The roof on this house is brand new. There are a couple of things that we need to go back to the roofing company for in terms, get some warranty work done. But other than that, roof's good. And also there are new AC units on this property. So I think the oldest AC unit is like 2016 or something like that. So very, very new, which is great. And didn't feel like we really needed those additional inspections, but the mold inspection we really felt like we needed. I did. I had a really, really strong feeling, especially after going through the inspection and realizing that there were additional leaks. That was confirmed, right? I had the strong feeling before we had the inspection appointment. So I actually ordered the mold inspection before, and the mold inspector arrived at the same time as the general inspector, which was great because then he could walk them around the house and show them, the other areas that he had found that weren't on the seller disclosure where there were leaks that had happened. Mold test came back and there's mold. There's also several seals that are broken in the windows, which we'll deal with. That wasn't something that was disclosed on the seller disclosure either, but we did discover it. So we're working with the seller in terms of the things that we need to get done to feel comfortable to move forward to purchase this property. But the mold is a really, really big thing. There are some other conducive areas which come on a termite inspection. So our termite person is really, really important to us too, because they're looking for areas that are conducive to termites, which are going to be, wet areas, water damaged areas, things like that, exposure where there's wood to earth contact, things like that. And there were some areas around the house that had that. So love my inspectors, really and truly love my gut feeling. I go a lot with gut feeling. That might sound silly, but it's not, because I'm very, very experienced. I've been through a lot of transactions, guys, not only for myself. And again, don't use a real estate agent that's never purchased a home before. Please do me a favor, because they really, truly don't know what you're going through and what you go through as a homeowner. They can learn in school. Real estate school really doesn't teach you all the things you need to know. I will tell you that right now. They can learn in school, but they're not going to be able to give you that hands-on, legitimate, experienced representation because they've never gone through it themselves. So big, giant thing right there. But I've been through a lot. I know we can get through this too. So wish me luck, guys. We are currently negotiating with the seller. Let's hope that everything goes well and we can get through this. All right. Until next time. Bye-bye.